It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talk Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I got to go back to the Wilderness of Mirrors, the great game. I got to go back to the CIA. I went to Virginia and went to the CIA. I really didn't, but I got to watch it on TV. So I'm gonna get into that. First couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Helsinki. Got some plays over in Helsinki this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Torba, and Helsinki. I heard later in the year, the NHL, that's the National Hockey League of the United States of America, is to go play some games in your land. You can see the NHL up close and personal. Now, I am in the States and I've never been to an NHL game, but I plan on going. Buddy of mine's a huge hockey fan. So very cool. Hope you guys enjoy the NHL when it's there. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the song called Victors by King Cortez and Queen Cortez. It's a song about being victorious over obstacles, whatever those obstacles might be. So check out the song. I will put the link below. Now, let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we got to follow Colin and Bill down the rabbit hole of the Wilderness of Mirrors. And this week, there was a sleeper cell from my country that's kind of in the news right now. And I believe that this was probably written way before what's going down in the real world. But this kind of thing in the story happens all the time. Now, some of our adversaries would like to damage the United States of America because they hate us because they ain't us. Have you ever seen the movie of James Franco called but they're going to Korea, but they're like, they hate us because they ain't us. So they say that basically a lot of our adversaries want to hurt us because they ain't us, or whatever reason. But in order to get at us, sometimes these guys, these foreign adversaries, will play the long game. Captain, what are you talking about long game? I'm talking about they will wait years, decades to get at us. I mean, these guys think long term, so these guys do this, seriously. So in this episode, they have what's called a sleeper cell. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically that people are in the space just waiting to be activated and take action. Now, in this particular episode, this is what happens. They're in deep cover. The name of the episode is Deep Cover. Dun, 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 dun. If you know the song by Snoop Dogg and Dre, well, this is what these guys are doing. These guys from a foreign country are in deep cover, waiting for the right moment to strike. And in this episode, they decide to strike. They do some messed up stuff on American soil. So it's up to Bill and Colin to go ahead and track these guys down and get them and take them off the board, for lack of a better term. And so in the process of doing this, they go through all the processes of, facial recognition, detective work, whatever, figuring out where these people will be at, who did it and why and all this. So they figure it out. Finally, when they're about to apprehend these guys, it's a man and a woman, husband and wife. Colin gets in there and they had one last card to play. They had a device that was going to do something really bad. I'm not going to say these words on the internet, but they had a device to do something really bad on American soil. It was up to Colin to stop it. And they're in a position where they couldn't do a whole lot. So basically, Colin had to talk to the guy. So yeah, that's what went down. I want to give more than that. But let me get into a few key things about this episode in general. Now, first off, we see in the episode that Colin is extremely good at lying. Let's be real about it. He's very good at lying. He sounds very believable. And as much as I've read about the case officers in CIA, as much as I don't like to say this, it kind of is necessary. I don't even call it a lie. Let's use what Spock says in Star Trek. He says, I can't remember what his case right now, but in Star Trek 3 or 4, which it was, Kirk goes, Spock, you lie. And he's like, I did not lie, whatever. I can't remember the term, I have to remember it is, I'll post it later. But he said he did not lie. And even the great Spock was able to not tell the truth. So he was saying, I think in the case officer position, in that space, it may be necessary to bend the truth or exaggerate or whatever we're going to use. And Colin is extremely good at it. I mean, he's so good at it. I mean, in the space when they're trying to talk down these bad actors, he uses that skill set to, to get these guys. And he's really, really good at it. And it comes to the territory. You have to be kind of a good BSer, unfortunately. Now, one additional thing too, last year, I read a book about, negotiation. I read this book by this FBI guy named, I think his name is Chris Voss. And he explains the process of hostage negotiation. And Colin does seem to kind of be moving by the playbook. I feel the writers that write this are really in touch with what happens in these spaces. I've never been in that world, but I've read tons of stuff about it. I've heard a lot of interviews and a lot of podcasts. And, I kind of understand how the world works a little bit, at least from what I read, at least what I've been seeing and heard about, right? It does seem the show does kind of reach in and do the research. So yeah, we can see Colin BS a lot and use that talent to, subdue the bad actors. He's really good. So yeah, so that's going down. And I got one last thing I want to talk about the episode as well specifically. So in the previous episodes, I said it appeared that Colin probably has a lady. He has a lady. Maybe we have a baby. Well, in this particular episode, they kind of flushed that story out a little bit. And apparently the kid is not his baby. So yeah, so it's not his baby. And so the relationship gets some more interesting, a little more deeper. We find out what's going on there. You see, he tells us that he loves her. Right, but then later, towards the end, the very end of the show, it finds out that because Bill's, kind of investigating this unit to see what's going down, because some shit might be going. And he discovers that apparently the chick that Colin's dating works for an international intelligence, company. Now, if you ever study these things, there's a lot of, private companies that engage in military activities that they're called whatever they're called, but they do military stuff and intelligence stuff. So it's a lot of companies out here that do that. They're kind of like military for hire, mercenaries, intelligence for hire. So it appears she works for this company. Now, so what does this mean? So we see the previous episodes, looks like, Colin loves this woman, she loves him back. But in the world of the wilderness of mirrors, you cannot be clear to what is the actual reality of the situation. So there's a lot of scenarios here that could be happening with these two individuals of Kyle and the chick's name. And it should be interesting to see how the story goes and the narrative goes going forward with these two people. I have my theories. I have quite a bit going on because so real quick, there's very limited information to what's happening. So in the world of intelligence, you would take the data you have and you'd make an analysis of what's happening. Now, with the little data we have, it's hard for me to gauge a really solid hypothesis of what is happening in this particular scenario. I've narrowed down to 3 theories. I mean, a lot of times when I'm dissecting things, I narrow down to about 3 things. And there's 3 possibilities, and 2 of them are negative, and 1's positive. And I'm hoping that it's the positive one, honestly. Because like I said in previous podcasts, every time I read a book, saw movies about a intelligence person in spying espionage world, having relationships, it never works out. I'm just hoping this time it works. Hoping for Kyle, get your lady, come on, make it all work. But I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to reveal that now. I'm just going to kind of keep an eye and see what happens as they go forward. Probably be very slow with revealing that. But anyways, if you've not seen CIA, it's pretty good. I've seen online where some people, they like it, don't like it, whatever. Because the kind of espionage spy stories like are a certain type. Now, I will say this is someone that has seen tons of spy stuff. There's a variety of styles when it comes to books and movies of how they do this. And so this is just one type that may not identify with a lot of other people. But if you're just trying to get into the game, so to speak, this is a good entry point because it's a very mainstream version of the espionage world. And you could dive deeper if you have other things. But it's a nice entry point if you want to start, diving down the world of espionage. I think it's pretty good. Now, I have not been to the group I'm in to see, what the vibe is or what people are thinking about it. I'm there quite a bit. I haven't seen anybody post about this. I might ask a question. I don't know. I'm just going to see what happens. But no one's really talked about that much. But, now that I said it, they'll probably tell it today. But I haven't really seen any thoughts on this particular show yet. So it should be interesting to see what the people who are part of the fandom, is that the word I say, fandom? Who like, the espionage world or interests or hobbies. I don't know what word language you use. But whatever we are, it'd be interesting to see what the other humans in this space think. I have not seen it. I'm very curious. So anyways, I think it's good. You know me. You've heard these podcasts over and over again. But I'm not really the mainstream dude. But to switch gears, I love Starfleet Academy. But it's getting canceled. Because a lot of my fellow Trekkies didn't care for it. And it's unfortunate because now it's canceled. Now we have nothing. The other thing that was coming out later. It's this and Strange New Worlds are done. Like I said, I used the phrase from Gene Roddenberry, infinite diversity, infinite combinations, the Idic, right? And so based on that, I accept all different storytelling in the genre I like, which is espionage, sci-fi, time travel, Star Trek, whatever. There's a lot of different ways of storytelling, and I support them all because I just like that world, right? And I think you should check it out. I think it's a good show. And so, yeah, this completes the podcast. Thanks for joining. And until next time, we'll see you. My wish is to ride the tempest, tame the waves, kill the sharks. I will not resign myself. Lady Trio. Till next time, scatter peace.
The Captain Talks.